Valentine's Day is one of the most widely recognized celebrations of love around the world. Every year on the 14th of February, people exchange flowers, chocolates, and heartfelt cards. Couples plan romantic evenings, and for a moment, everything seems to take on the colors of love: pinks, reds, and soft warmth. But have you ever stopped to ask where this tradition actually began? Because the real story behind Valentine's Day is far older and far more complex than the modern version suggests. Its roots stretch back into a past that is not only romantic, but also mysterious and, at times, unsettling. To understand it, we need to go back centuries. Long before Valentine's Day became a symbol of couples and love letters, mid-February was connected to an ancient Roman festival known as Lupercalia. Held around the 15th of February, Lupercalia was a celebration tied to fertility, the coming of spring, and the idea of renewal after winter. Romans believed this period marked the turning point from cold darkness toward new life. The festival itself, however, looked nothing like today's gentle celebrations. It was loud, chaotic, and deeply rooted in ritual. Crowds filled the streets, animals were sacrificed, and ceremonies were performed in the hope of health and fertility for the year ahead. Some historians even suggest that young men would draw women's names from a jar, forming temporary pairings during the festival. So, in its earliest form, this season wasn't about romance in the modern sense. It was shaped by ancient beliefs, traditions, and wild public celebrations. The name Valentine is believed to come from a real person, or perhaps several individuals, remembered collectively as Saint Valentine. In the 3rd century, the Roman Empire was ruled by Emperor Claudius II. Rome was frequently at war, and Claudius became convinced that unmarried men made stronger soldiers. Without wives or families, he thought, they would fight more willingly. According to legend, he banned young men from marrying. But one priest, named Valentine, refused to accept this. Valentine secretly performed weddings for young couples in love, despite the emperor's orders. When Claudius discovered what was happening, Valentine was arrested. In time, he was sentenced to death. Tradition holds that he was executed on the 14th of February, a date that would later become tied to his memory. And this is where the story begins to take on a deeper emotional weight. One enduring legend claims that while Valentine was imprisoned, he developed feelings for the jailer's daughter. Before his execution, he is said to have written her a final farewell letter, signing it with the words, "From your Valentine." That simple phrase may have inspired the romantic messages people still exchange centuries later. Whether entirely factual or partly symbolic, the story reflects why Valentine became associated with devotion, love, and sacrifice. So, how did the death of a martyr evolve into a celebration of romance? The shift happened gradually during the Middle Ages. By the 14th century, Valentine's Day was increasingly linked to romantic love across Europe, especially in England and France. People believed that mid-February was the time when birds began to mate, making it a natural season for love to blossom. Poets embraced the idea, writing about Valentine's Day as a moment of courtship and affection. Geoffrey Chaucer, one of the most influential writers of the time, helped strengthen this connection through his poetry. Slowly, Valentine's Day moved away from its religious origins and into the world of romance. By the 18th century, Valentine's Day had become a well-established tradition in Britain. People exchanged handwritten notes, poems, and small tokens of affection. In the 19th century, the custom grew even further with the rise of printed Valentine cards. Mass production made it easier than ever to send messages of love, sometimes even anonymously. During Victorian times, Valentine's Day became an important social event, and from there, the celebration spread worldwide. Today, Valentine's Day is celebrated in many different cultures, each with its own customs. For some, it remains a sweet opportunity to express love and appreciation. For others, it can feel overly commercial, focused more on buying gifts than on genuine emotion. Still, Valentine's Day remains a fascinating blend of history and tradition, shaped by ancient Roman festivals, religious legends, medieval poetry, and modern popular culture. It reminds us that even the most romantic holidays often have unexpected and complicated beginnings. So the next time you see roses, chocolates, or heart-shaped cards, remember that Valentine's Day is more than a modern celebration of romance. It's a story that has travelled through centuries, from ancient rituals to secret weddings, from prison letters to poetry, and finally into the world we know today. And perhaps that's why it still resonates. Because love, in every era, has always found a way to endure. Now, let's take a look at how Valentine's Day is actually celebrated in Britain. In the UK, the day is usually marked in a fairly quiet and understated way. It isn't always a big, dramatic occasion. For most people, it's more about simple gestures than grand displays. Cards are a key tradition. One of the most familiar Valentine traditions in Britain is exchanging cards. Many people pick one up from places like supermarkets or shops such as W.H. Smith and write a short message inside. Interestingly, sending cards anonymously has also been part of British Valentine culture for a long time, and it remains a tradition that some people still enjoy. Flowers and chocolates. Flowers are, of course, still a popular choice, especially red roses. Chocolate boxes are another classic gift, often given as a small but meaningful way of saying, "I'm thinking of you." Romantic dinners, usually something cozy. Couples often choose to celebrate with a meal out, but Valentine's dinners in Britain tend to be more cozy than extravagant. Some people book a table at a local restaurant, while others prefer to stay in and cook something special at home. Valentine's Day for children as well. In some British primary schools, children may also take part by exchanging small cards or sweets with classmates. It's usually a light-hearted and friendly tradition, not necessarily a romantic one. So that's the story behind Valentine's Day, from its ancient origins to the traditions we still see today. I hope you enjoyed this journey through history and British culture. And in the next video, we'll take the story to London and see what Valentine's Day feels like in the city itself. So make sure to join me next time. See you soon.